Yes, we are live. Hey, good Friday afternoon to you. It's Talkin Wrestling. This is right here, right now by Fat Boy Slim. Make you feel like you want to go out and wrestle?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Fat Boy Slim is a very summation of my life.
Well played. Well played. Well, hey, good Friday to you all. I am Greco Moses Rob Prevish, and to my left today is Jeff Gregory, Hanover High School parent. His son, JD, is a two-time state champion. To his left is Chris Michael, Greco-Roman Superior Coach down from Virginia Beach. And to his left is, as you know, is Good Body. And to his left is Mike Foss. To the left. Everything's to the left.
Hey, everybody.
If you notice, we've got kind of a little different setup here today.
We have guests.
We have guests.
It's more in the round.
It's a round table. Yeah. So we'll try to make contact.
It's the Virginia Easy system.
Virginia Easy system. I don't know about how easy that is, but we're going to try and have a conversational atmosphere today because we have some guests here. But yeah, it's Friday. The sun's shining. River Rock is here, and
Modest Yahoo is playing down
Modest
Yeah.
Yahoo.
There you go,
And
recommended.
it's hot. So is he going to play? Will he
He's
play?
probably staying at your apartment.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
is right
Which,
now.
by the way, I believe is 2 blocks away, if I'm not mistaken.
You have to understand they've been giving me a lot of grief because apparently everything is 2 blocks from my
Ain't that a geographical oddity?
Yes, it is. Anyway, so got a lot of stuff on tap. to
We
talk
have
about.
a sponsor. This just in. Salt.
Well, there's some Texas.
What's
meat
that
over
you say? Your food's a little bland? We'll put a little salt on there. That'll take care of it. Not too much. Watch the sodium, especially you wrestling.
there. Retains
Salt.
water.
Free T-shirts, real quick. We gotta get into this. I'm rocking Edinburgh Wrestling
Where'd you get that?
from PA. Kid I used to coach in club. Went up there, walked on, wrestled up there for about 2 years. Named Cal Belter, wrestled at Thomas Dale a little bit. Worked out a little bit of Impact, worked out a little bit of Predator. Figured it's old free shirt, some holes in the armpits, but it's still
No
nice.
sweat holes, or did you just?
It's a little wear and tear, buddy.
Yeah.
Wear and tear. What you got, boss?
I got, speaking of Team Impact, I have the Team Impact.
Yeah, we see Team Impact.
Oh, well, there it is.
There you go.
Team Impact, just trust me.
Probably the ugliest color scheme Steiny's ever
Yeah,
chose. but
Steiny,
it's
it looks
interesting.
good. Brings out my eyes. Everybody can tell.
It's a great college game.
I actually lit the desk when Steiny was not looking, so
So
if he's
technically,
watching.
it was
I
5 finger
took
discount.
it. Yes.
What you got, Breach?
I've got Team Virginia 2006. This was the year of the soccer official shirt. Yeah, I look like I should be out there on the
You
field.
look good, though.
Thank you.
Look
It's
good.
class up the joint. It was free.
He does have a red car.
Exactly.
The field's only 2 blocks
There
away.
you go.
Yeah, got it rolling.
I'll go officiate your brother's game later.
He's playing
I'm
indoor
gonna
though.
yellow card his ass and red card him.
I'll probably have you crack his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our guest, what are you wearing?
I am supporting the Team Virginia Central Region Middle School team at Virginia Doors.
Nice.
Good job.
Forgot about the Eastern Shore. Those of you that watch this,
Yes.
you probably
It's not
don't. You probably don't have
That
any
is
connection on
Central
the
Region.
Eastern Shore. But we got that. We got.
I got the old Ohio shirt. I got it from birthday a couple days ago from my mom and dad in Ohio.
Oh, sweet.
Oh man.
Oh,
Happy
Way
belated
to
birthday.
represent the
happy
kids.
birthday.
Yeah. So, got a lot of interesting stuff on tap tonight. We're going to start it out with, hey, Virginia Wrestling Association just hired a new executive director, Andrew Farrer. He's going to take over June 1st or 2nd as the paid executive director. It's freaking awesome.
Wrestle at UNC.
Yep.
That's all I know about this.
Wrestled at Episcopal. He coached at Episcopal. Put
Which
together
one?
Episcopal High School in Alexandria.
Oh, that's the boarding school.
Yes.
Okay.
And did a great job there. Then moved to St. Mark's, Texas, and had a couple of state champions there, some national prep place winners. He's got a lot of knowledge of the sport. Really works well with the kids. So it not only is going to be the executive, but I see him getting out on the mat and working out with the kids and getting mat side coaching. So it's awesome. Hopefully he'll be at the state tournament.
Coach out there in Texas and stuff. Like they attached the VII email this month, a week, whatever they send it. I don't know. It builds up in the email accounts. But they had a little article about him. He coached out there with Kendall Cross. So, I mean, obviously, you know, you got to learn a lot from Kendall. You know, it's definitely bringing a lot. What's the role of the executive director?
He's going to executively direct the ball.
You're the supposed to be the man with the end.
Do I get to meet him at the meetings
He's
that
gonna
are
do
doing
himself with wrestling.
Good.
That's what he's gonna do.
He's going to be the guy in charge. He's basically is going to be our fearless leader, you know, with program development, grassroots organization, trying to spread the message of VAWA out to the masses. You know, if you go west, there are huge pockets of Virginia where kids don't know about VAWA. They don't know about freestyle and Greco, and they just wrestle in whatever, you know.
What's that pocket from Roanoke, basically Grundy?
Yeah.
You know, like.
And really from Roanoke to, well, that whole southern portion, there's nothing, you know, other than Franklin County and maybe a couple of those schools, but by and large, I mean, there's nothing. So hopefully, you know, and that was one of the missions of the freestyle and Greco coaches, to spread the word of freestyle and Greco to those areas. So I got out to Roanoke a couple times, and, you know, just really want to get more people out. You know.
Step in the right direction. I mean,
Absolutely.
all VAWA doing this thing right direction.
Absolutely.
You know, we had people out step in the right direction. Also, Coach Michael here is also involved with the women's stuff. I know in VAWA they're doing a great job of all that.
Most girls that we've had come out.
Most girls that I've ever seen registered for the VAWA state tournament.
It's awesome.
Years past, it was just Lauren Prada and Becca, you know, and maybe a couple others, maybe. But most of the time, they wouldn't even wrestle at the state tournament or register. Most of the time, they would just end up on the Fargo team.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, you know, what's the structure of the club that you're running on there?
So right now we're meeting every Wednesday from 6 to 8.
Right.
High school. Sarah Fulton's the head coach, and Timothy Green, who helps us as well as the school this past year. So the three of us just kind of got together because we went wrestling in high school, California. So I really saw the ladies out there, the same desire, the same passion that we do as guys. They really got back here to station. Meet everyone and do something special and try to promote women's wrestling. So kind of all just met each other within 3 weeks. Just hit the ground running.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a great job.
When y'all doing the women's stuff though, is that kind of branched off with you Princess kids?
It's a little different. Everything that we do at the women on Wednesdays is together. It's boys and girls. But typically once a week or once a year, an opportunity goes to girls and practice on Sundays. So our girls are in our last camp was in Gloucester. So we really shot up in Gloucester, high school club there. So
Good man, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They have a good like sports too. So what's next, Pooch? What we got?
Well, I'm reminding people on Facebook that we are live and we have our chat window open.
You
So
are looking live.
we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live.
If
So
another Manheim boy Tuesday, buddy, I'm not going to do the show.
I hope Farrah's out to see that.
right,
This show would be 10 minutes long.
right now, we don't have anybody. I'm guessing Gatomer's creeping around somewhere.
Might be down at River Rock.
No,
Right?
he's
Much
not.
that sort of stuff.
He's not at River Rock. Let's go into something interesting that I think we can all weigh in on, and there's a fun attached to that. The best and the worst post-weigh-in food and drink. What do you think the best?
Let's start off with Mr. Gregory as a parent.
Okay.
As
All
a
right,
parent,
from the parent perspective.
parent perspective.
The best food in the world. My kid,
Yeah, you're athlete.
yeah. He likes pasta and chicken. Very good chicken.
Any sauce
Italian,
on the chicken?
Italian. He's got meat range, which is but he keeps his weight down, so it is what it is. The worst food, he eats everything that he can grab that I'm not watching.
I noticed like when I came out to New Kent, Coach Foss and Coach Hinson already kind of established like a good post-weigh-in meal for kids. You know, a lot of it just pasta, you know, like some light dressing on it, you know, bagels and honey,
Old pasta.
A little raspberry vinaigrette.
Pedialyte pops.
Pedialyte pops. You guys are big on the Pedialyte pops.
Pedialyte.
I want
It's
to
a little bit.
talk about that in a second.
Like,
JD thinks.
the Pedialyte pops is not as strong as a pure Pedialyte. Like Blake Homan loves the straight Pedialyte. He cuts it with a little bit of water.
Yeah.
So athletes obviously do different things, but in our pool, that's what it's usually.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The first thing, Pedialyte pops are a lot cheaper, and I usually end up buying them, so they're a lot cheaper.
Wait a minute, I'm the cheap guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I bought a lot of Pedialyte pops.
Yeah, that's true because I always forget, and then I just pick up some Pedialyte pops. Then the other thing is that I found that I think that's a lot of it's psychological.
Yeah.
With Pedialyte. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I think it made kids feel better, not necessarily the I don't know if it was like health-wise better, but it made them feel better. So I'll take that. Anything to make them wrestle the best, I'll do that.
And for the most part, it helps with like weigh-ins and stuff. And most of our kids don't shoot up. Of course, you have those handful, but most of the time the kids' weights will maintain a little bit easier. I know as an athlete, I wasn't putting the right things back in my body. That's one of the reasons I look like this now,
We got a
probably.
hoagie.
Yeah, a little hoagie. Hoagie and a gator.
Yeah.
And that's how we used to. I think that kids used to, on match nights, one guy run the subway. I don't think that's the way to do it. So now I have a parent pick up, everybody chips in and you pick up a cooler.
Yeah.
And I'm in charge of what gets put in the cooler. So.
Now, what you guys do up in northern Michigan?
Well, it's a lot different compared to the folk style season. I do like a Greco freestyle season. So like for me, I weigh 240 walk around, and then I cut to 211. So 2 weeks before I really start cutting out. So I go to rehydrate after a weigh, and I go right to as much protein for as possible. Try to at least get 2 front sticks.
Right.
Pedialyte.
You guys were weighing the night before too, right?
Yeah, so it's almost like a full 24 hour.
Yeah.
Is this for Greco tournaments?
That's huge.
A nice full weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it's a Super 32. If we're gonna say with Coach Style, I mean, how big does JD get after that?
Nowhere near as big as everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, BC went down there, wrestled. He made 132 for it. He was a 38 pounder this year. Made 132 scratch down there for it. Then by the next day, he weighed easily. He said the next morning weighed 146.
Oh yeah.
And that was nothing. Like for him, he wasn't even the biggest 32 pounder guy.
When I was wrestling, it's gonna sound very stereotype. I would eat a couple of bagels after I'm waiting for the laughter.
Pretty funny. Like kosher.
Actually, they were. I'd have a couple of bagels, and instead of Gatorade, like this was, back in the dark ages, they had this stuff called Manischewitz. No. They had this fluid replacement called Exceed, and it wasn't like Gatorade. It wasn't as sweet, but it had the electrolytes in their proper balance, so it tasted pretty good, and it actually rehydrated you better than what Gatorade does. Gatorade's awful. Gatorade is the worst thing you can drink. I think. Yeah, it's sugar and salt. Yeah.
When I'm running, I need to have it in there because it's too sweet. I actually make a workout.
Let me tell you what you can buy. All right, and this is kind of like an advertisement.
Brought to you by Greco.
Greco Moses.
We use, like last couple of years at St. Chris, we've been using this stuff called Vitalite. You can go to REI out in Short Pump or any REI recreational. What's the official name? I'm not sure. But REI's big outdoor store, and they have this stuff called Vitalite, and it's low calorie, low sugar, but it's got the electrolytes in its core. It's like drinking Pedialyte, only not as thick and syrupy. The grape tastes really good. The orange tastes really good, and
Is it in a powder form?
it's in a powder. And you can get it in a little package mixed with a bottle of water. Boom. Forza by Ken. I don't know.
Is that just like a supplement product, or is it like?
It's kind of like what was the stuff that Joe say was Advocare. It's a lot like the Advocare stuff. Whether it works or not, I don't know. He seems to swear by it. Hey, Text message from Coach Swink. He's on his way.
He's
All right.
on his way.
On his
He's
way.
in here.
Yeah, he might be able
We're
to.
really going to have to move that machine.
Reposition.
Yeah.
This might be a long podcast.
It might be a long podcast because we wind up telling story. Worst thing is when I was at Waynesboro, my kids would go to would come back with cheeseburgers from McDonald's and soda.
It is Waynesboro.
It is Waynesboro, and after the first week,
I say that a lot.
I threw all that stuff out. I'm like, no, we're not eating that crap. And the parents at St. Chris do a great job of providing food for the kids for the weekend. I mean, we come in with 3 or 4 coolers and a ton of crazy stuff. But it's a lot of lean turkey, roll, stuff like that. Nothing gross and heavy.
How often have you seen an athlete? I know I went through it. After the night of competition, they put the wrong things back in their body. That next day at school or at practice, they're cramping, or they're just feeling terrible.
I got a story for you.
I remember one of the first times, I forget what year, senior year maybe,
Right.
I don't know. And I remember the other night I went out after a duel. I went out with my brother and my coach,
Right.
and I went out and just ate the dumbest stuff ever. Salty fries.
Your coaches with you.
My coach with me. Well, it was different. My coach wasn't preaching outside.
No.
Was Jesse Bell there?
Jesse Bell was not there. He should be
Jesse
here.
Bell
But,
be preaching.
Now,
But he should be here.
funny story about what you should not eat before a finals of a tournament. Right, I was in 9th grade, and I'm in the finals of our county tournament. And somebody
Which county is that? Center County?
Center County.
Center County.
Center
All right,
County.
buddy. Not an ER.
And somebody brings me back a Whopper with cheese, value meal.
he loved it.
Oh, I loved it, but halfway through the match, I had to stop. And this is, at this time, you can take more than 3 injury timeouts.
Ooh.
So I took my second injury time.
The
Yeah,
Previous tornado.
yeah, I was known for that. And my coach comes out. He's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, I got to drop. He was like, "What?" He's like, "I gotta poo." He's like, "What do you mean you gotta go?" I gotta go. I'm gonna crap my singlet. He's like, "Can you make it back in 2 minutes?" I'm like, so I run off the mat in the finals of this tournament. People are like, "Where's he going?" And I had to go to the bathroom.
What happens, Previous?
And I lost the match. So
And your pride all at the same time.
well, I didn't soil my singlet.
You didn't drop it on the mat.
No.
That happened
I
to one of our wrestlers.
have seen that.
What is on the way in? I got a quick question. Michael, did you talk in kilos or pounds?
I talked to you guys in pounds, but it's 96 kilos is the weight class. 98.
Like Nikita Cole.
When you were over there, did you talk about how many
Yeah,
pounds?
everything at the center is in kilos. When the incoming freshmen would come in, we just all talk in kilos.
They would
They would try to change it to pounds on the
2.2. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's just-
Yeah, I'm only one over. Oh yeah, kilos, 2.2 pounds. Son of a.
What
I
else?
do want to say one thing about Wayne, one thing about hosting a tournament and people that host. I really don't like when they send out and they say no coolers allowed and there's no alternative place to put them. I think that is really
You
wrong.
mean like you guys have never been
There's all places all around. What's the first one? It's North Shore. It was like that. Over in,
AAA states back when they were at the beach. They couldn't bring anything.
it's not about making money, guys. That's about the health of the wrestlers.
Yeah, that's why I like having the AAA states at Robinson. Because Coach Hazard was like, "Yeah, you want to bring your coolers in? Cool, whatever." Because he understands that it's not about making the money on the concessions. It's about the kids getting their food.
And I understand, okay, you don't want your gym messed up. Okay, then when we had ours, and at the Trojan duels, we say, okay, put the coolers out the cafeteria right there next to the gym, and we're fine. Or clean up your mess.
Yeah. Did you guys award a Trojan horse to the people?
We did. We did a Trojan horse. We actually put
With
some
their little people.
Good idea.
little
How
Spartans
awesome
in
would that
there.
be? You get a Trojan horse trophy
That would
with
be
little people in it.
Yeah. And they sneak out and they attack you at night. That would be cool. Yes.
See, this is what we do. Yeah. Jeff and Chris were like, "What did we get?"
Yeah, sort of sandbagging.
They're probably listening to things they'd rather be doing on a Friday afternoon.
You said you wanted to come down to 3rd Street Diner.
Watching Big Time Grass Grow.
I just came for the food.
The food is good here.
Bathroom is nuts.
And so I guess we're on officiating now.
Oh boy, we could go all night.
Look, I got it broken down though. Like on your like little outline, like I got it broken down. We're gonna talk about folk style first, and we're just gonna talk about straight stall. You know,
Call it.
Yeah.
call it.
Call it.
You also, on your notes, I saw that you had, what, like the coaches plan.
Yeah.
Like they do that in New Jersey, and like Coach Buxton used to do it.
And show the officials what, like, okay, this is actually a takedown on the line. Like the little things that if you haven't wrestled,
Especially in this age of scrambles.
yeah, don't get me started on the scrambles.
We've been there.
Scrambling.
You know,
You
but,
love the scramble,
I do not like the scramble.
other than eggs.
But yeah,
one of the better ones I've seen.
if a kid is stalling, if they're actively not wrestling, you know, and it happens more at the college level, they need to be courageous and call stalling. They don't. I mean, how many matches in the NCAA finals where guys are backing up and doing nothing and they ain't calling?
well, I know next year they're trying at the All-Star match to do like, they're trying to call stall in a certain way, then they're going to do it in the season. Just to try it out. They're going to do it like, they're going to
count.
Yeah.
The second count, I think it is.
you know, and then also going to do like, if you step out of the circle, they're going to call you, like, you know, not going to push
Yeah,
you,
stall warning.
they're going to give you stall warning. You know,
I'm
which
not.
I think that's going to translate a little bit to freestyle and Greco. It's going to help us out a little bit, but it's going to be interesting for people like these athletes, these kids to adjust.
I think if they just were at one point even full style right through the collegiate for a step out, okay, that would help our country transition to some Greco as
Yeah.
well. And then the SMEs were there as far as zone.
Yeah.
If the official says zone and you don't start working zone, it's a call, it's a call shooter.
Well, you know, in the last 5-6 years, with the rule changes, you know, without the passivity, there was no need to call them. Now there is.
But if you watch a lot of high school freestyle and Greco matches, you don't see it much passivity call because the scoring is out there.
Wait till you get to Fargo in the later rounds when a guy's holding a 1 point lead.
I mean, hopefully you see it. Like I'm just talking about the tournament like, so far is off season.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it at the high school level. At the senior level, you've seen it a bunch.
Now at the senior level, it's not when you disqualify.
Yeah, now they're actually calling it. I mean, and I guess Fila got on the officials saying, look, because they, you know, it used to be like, you know, both guys would have 2 cautions and then nobody would call the third one because they didn't want to be the official who gets reamed out by the big wigs from Fila for disqualifying out. They're actually having the courage to, you know, call it like they see it, which is a huge step. You know?
People like movement. I mean, stalling, you know, like people that stall, it's not promoting movement. That's what, you know, if you want the sport to get, you know, some headway,
Right.
popularity, we got to promote movement in the sport.
I got tons of stuff for
Aggressiveness.
I got
Get
tons
back
of
to
stuff. Yeah.
Let me get back to the folk
Folk style.
Yeah.
Like, but for folk style, like what I've got is the officiating. Like, obviously, it transitions from even like region or, you know, association to association. And we go to PA, and like probably the worst PA official up there is we and like Coach Voss would think he's great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just because the way he's calling, you know, things and
I
stuff.
love going up. Yeah, the national press. I love going up there to officiate and watching, you know, wrestling because
That's my whole point with the refs down in this area and the state of Virginia as a whole. When we got higher level kids that are going out of state to compete in these national tournaments, they are used to wrestling certain matches because they don't get called. They get up there and all of us they get dinged and dinged and dinged.
little swings in the house.
They get dinged. What do you do? How do you change it? You can't change your style that quick.
It happens at all levels. Even in Oklahoma with the girls, one of our girls, Nathan Moore, was in the semifinal match.
Legend.
First and second. She got double arm bar, turned to the right, they counted the points. She bellied up. Her opponent still had double arm bar, and then the referee counted it to the other side, to the left. And immediately went to the table with a question call with 4 seconds left. And she had time to
I'll
recover.
let you know in a second.
It's never released. And I was there for 14 minutes.
We're on live.
Yeah, we're on.
We're filming.
Yeah,
You are looking live.
You're live with us, good son.
You can't score the same.
I thought you were done.
No,
She ended up taking
we started late because my computer had to update, you know, Windows.
What I've noticed is,
Baxter was
You
running.
know that too.
what I've noticed officials like in the Central Virginia area,
No, you guys are better now. Gonna move that way.
like when you like when
Slide
our
that way.
central officials get down to Virginia duels or like states or anything, they're calling things
Kind
different.
of in.
You know,
Kind of
so
inside.
they're calling things different. You know, are we good?
Slide a little bit more to the. You're right.
Right? But like the fishing in central area, like when they go to Virginia rules, like go to these bigger tournaments and they get like gas go fishing, they're calling stuff differently. You know, and then they get back to local, like you see them at like local tournament stuff. Like
Even the difference between a central region official and the valley official.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. Especially one actually looks like Turner Ashby. The guy, I thought he was Turner Ashby. That was wrestling.
My 1 year at Waynesboro, I can remember being at a match and a kid took 2 steps out of the center circle on the whistle, and the referee went boom. It's like 1 minute 58 seconds. You have a stall warning. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our Vawa State Chairman Bill Swink here tonight. Glad that you can make it in with us tonight.
Ross Tomer, you live right around the corner.
Yeah.
You can't make it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
You got served, Ross. Served.
Sure. Yeah,
Where
we're
you at, Ross?
Yeah, you look like Luigi, and now you got served.
So how's the setup going for the state tournament?
Mats are down.
Mats are down.
Mats are down.
Clocks are up.
Clocks aren't up.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning.
Franco Polo is gonna be out there all night setting up himself.
He's not coming tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we got to get this thing so just right, you know. And I have a tournament that we did this at.
We can get on the internet tonight, so.
We're on the internet at 3rd Street.
Yes, we are on the internet.
Yeah.
We have to carry it.
Okay.
And they had the door locked that off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have got on the Ash Center Wi-Fi, but
You wouldn't have gotten any. Yeah.
Yeah, but stalling in folk style is just not called across the board correctly. And it makes everything. It makes things like the coach, makes things like the fan,
Yeah.
makes those athletes frustrated. But it's something you got to deal with. And it's
As Coach Gordon would say, it's bad for the sport, fellas.
well, did you see what they're going to do at the All-Star Classic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned we didn't really talk about it. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, it's going a little towards freestyle as far as push out and things like that. I think it's a good thing. We need to encourage actually to stay on the
The
mat.
center, keeping in the center of the limit. How many matches have been decided on a questionable takedown on the edge of the mat?
How many people are coaching to that?
Yeah.
That's bad.
And going to the collegiate rules for out of bounds developed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually having it out of bounds instead of being able to wrestle all the way around in the protective
The
area.
only problem I see with that is our referees in Virginia trying to interpret that rule and can't interpret a stall call.
Well, they can't interpret out of bounds. I heard you guys talk about stalling being called
Yeah.
regionally different,
Yeah.
which is so true.
Yeah,
Out of bounds is called different depending on what part of the state,
Yeah.
and if they
what
like you,
part of the country you're
yeah,
wrestling in.
yeah, and if I tell the kids this when we're training, like freestyle Greco about parterre. If the referee knows the coach and doesn't like the coach, it's going to keep you down on the mat for 30, 40 seconds. And if you're international, if you're an American, how long are they going to keep you down? Forever. Yeah.
Until you get turned.
Yeah, till you actually get turned.
Well, I have seen it in the rules, and watching a little bit of international, most of it's been in the U.S.,
Right.
watching Beat the Streets last week, putting guys back up on their feet
That's
a lot
good.
quicker.
That's good.
And
I have it written down right here about parterre. Like you're not seeing it as much. Like even like of course in Greco you see it like
Hope they get a passivity
Well,
point.
and they'll give you more time to work too.
Yeah.
yeah. But like in freestyle, in our room, it was like you've been showing a lot of parterre stuff. But our freestyle days, we do a lot of transitional parterre stuff.
That's where you need to score.
You
Right
know,
off the shot.
Yeah. Right into it, 2 and 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 2.
but we're not showing a lot of like parterre starts. You never see it. In
You're
freestyle.
not going to see a parterre start in freestyle unless the referee makes a mistake and they have to restart. That's the only time you see a parterre start in freestyle. So there is no parterre starts.
I had that written down. What about passivity though? Like, were you gonna like? I felt like at the freestyle and Greco events I've been to, our refs and Wawa, like they've been doing a lot better job. Like even like the newer guys,
Except in Manchester.
I thought they've done,
Yeah,
we've had 3-man mechanics.
which is great.
Which is
Unheard of. It's first
in
year.
Almost any state is unheard
Yeah.
of anymore.
Now at Manchester is the first tournament the rule changes.
With some young.
Oh yeah, there was a pretty new referee who didn't understand in Greco about calling passivity and let a match get into the 5th minute actually let it go to almost the 6th minute, 0-0, with no passivity warnings. And Tim Pearson was the chairman, and he's trying to get this young guy to call stalling, and the kid's just not paying attention. And I'm looking at Tim because it's a kid that I know that I've been coaching. And he's looking at me like, I know it's passivity, can't do anything. Because I know that if the referee doesn't initiate the caution, there's nothing that can happen. Tim can't bang the pass. I mean, he could. But.
This isn't really with the passivity, but like I was sitting at the table at that same tournament, and I was like just randomly scoring at the scores table, and Tim was sitting next to me, and a newer official I've never seen before.
Right.
I'm new to the association. He called it a 1-point takedown because it was, the kid hit his butt and he was still hand to hand. And I turned to him and they scored it 1, and I asked them because I've wrestled freestyle, and I would have scored it 2. But then Tim, the new official got it correct. And Tim, broke it down to why it was 1.
That's the great thing about 3-man mechanics. You can call what you think you saw, and I think that's great. And I tell young officials, like, look, call what you think you see, and if it's wrong, then the chairman will take care of it. And hopefully they'll be nice enough to explain to you why, maybe it was this instead. See, when I learned how to officiate in Pennsylvania, Bob Siles, kind of could be abrasive at times. And when you're 15 or 16 years old, you make a mistake. You need to be corrected in a way that makes you want to continue. But when you get yelled at for making the wrong call, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to wrestle. Screw you. So Tim's doing a great job with officiating. I think it's really turning the corner.
Yeah, he's out there.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. So
He's everywhere.
He's as current as we're going to get.
Yep.
Anywhere. So
Yep.
that's really nice.
And hopefully he got his Feel It 2 upgrade, which would be great. He was in Brazil earlier in the year.
He's at Body Bar this week.
Okay.
So,
Where is that?
that's the women's national.
Texas. So
Good Body has checked that part.
So I guess we beat that horse.
This is how official we are here.
Check.
So that horse is now dead.
What you got next, baby? You got it now.
Well, we could go into social media and wrestling. Good or bad.
Great. It's great. I think we do a poor job in New Kent.
Yeah.
Coach Foss does a great job with updates on Twitter and
That's why
stuff.
I'm on Twitter. I just
He does a great job with that and stuff. But I feel like we need to do a better job with Facebook.
Facebook's got to be able to.
We've been talking about
Maybe
that.
somebody actually got a Facebook.
Got that ball rolling. Whoa.
Yeah, the guy. I like how the guy without the
Yeah,
Facebook.
we're talking about
The young people are gone from Facebook.
Yeah.
It's
old
now.
people. Yeah.
The young people are Twitter. So
Yeah. Twitter, Instagram.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Foss does a great job with the Twitter stuff, but I feel like we need to make a little adjustments and stuff. Unlike you, who has all the time in the world being a PE teacher.
Oh, what are you trying to say here?
Has
We can't all
has
backtrack
9 websites and
and text
300
during the
teachers.
match.
Yeah, it's good to be the market share.
It's great looking over the corner and you crack back in the day, you crack Rob Janice's back, and then you would tweet
Text
his
me.
whole match.
I'm
Text,
coaching.
These
Walk
guys,
around, get a coat.
Virginia Duels, what was it, 2 years ago? Yeah, they're texting me because I cracked somebody's back. They're like, hey, good job cracking his back.
And ever since then,
Who are you guys wrestling?
We were getting
was that
bored.
South Plainfield?
You guys were getting-
No, we just wrestled
Slaughter.
that.
No, you guys were getting tooled at the time. It was like
I think it was
50 to
South
0.
Plainfield.
We would get told up by you at the
It
time.
was South Plainfield.
Was it that year? We did it?
Yeah.
But my response to that was like, oh yeah, look at your score. Wow. You guys can score a T-point?
We won one match in overtime.
South
We got
Plainfield.
that in our back.
Our heavyweight took it down. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, social media, we got to cater to the technical, technology out there. And
It's a good way. I like following Jordan Burroughs and Jay Herbert and those guys.
Yeah.
They do a great job
Connection.
of promoting wrestling and promoting themselves.
Yeah. Like people
Burroughs made his name
oh yeah.
on Twitter.
And people were saying like that whole lead up to the Olympics and like, oh, he's really cocky and arrogant. No, he's just a confident young man who wants to freaking
Fine line. Confidence and arrogance.
It's I don't see it as arrogance.
But you need to have that.
It's confidence. I mean, the guy won a world championship with a broken ankle.
It's positive
Yeah.
affirmation.
Yeah.
He's not trash talking
No,
like
he's not.
other sports. You see like you see tweets about that this kid's mother and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really see that from us. I'm sure they're out there, but we don't promote it and we don't tolerate it as coaches. You know, I think that's one of the great things about the sport is that the positive stuff that we bring.
You guys been doing a lot of Facebook stuff and the women stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's our main social media outlet. We have that, and the website too. Tim Brady's on the website. But that's our outlet for everything. Those two sources.
You guys can always pay me to do a website for it.
Or not. I've had a couple people offer not to be paid, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll get that ball
We're gonna put the
rolling.
Greco Moses link on there, buddy. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get
Sell, sell, sell.
And ever do anything?
Do you have t-shirts?
No.
I wish.
Oh,
I got a page to handle the
I mean, you
rest
can
of
order
it,
them.
put out on my Facebook, and that's why I just load the pictures.
yeah, I do get that. I get those links. Yeah.
And I'm
And you do take very good pictures.
Oh,
I just wanted you
yeah.
to take pictures of him.
I thought you were gonna bring the
He's
camera
like-
tonight, and I was like,
No, Kevin pretty much stays retired outside of wrestling.
Yeah. No, it's I like seeing the pictures at states and nationals. You know, not just the action shots are great, but like seeing like the kids warming up and just being themselves, and us being ourselves, and you get a good laugh out of it. You know,
Well, that's, you gotta keep it fun.
can't take yourself so seriously. You miss out on the fun. So, let's see what else.
Wawa preview?
Okay,
It's gonna take a
oh,
while.
look at it.
Wawa
Yeah,
preview.
This is gonna-
You have your research.
Holy
You printed
mackerel.
stuff off. That's like every kid by from around there.
Is this
What
how?
you do?
Where did you print that off?
This morning. There's probably more kids.
So much has changed.
So much to see. So I should just throw this over.
No, you might hit one of our waitresses.
Yeah, and we're supposed to shout out to.
We might hit Steph. We're going to shout out to her. She
Yeah.
claims that she can outrun us.
Yeah.
She didn't get a shout out last week. She was really upset.
She was very upset, and we forgot her name. She had to tell her name. Then you called her Steph Infection. It's like building out there down here. She might come up and punch us all in the face. I don't know.
But I remember some of this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and shout out to Christy for letting me know that I left my sunglasses here last
She
week.
texted him last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
I'm leaving that number there.
It's not me.
That's in
That was
history. We're gonna solve
definitely
that. We're gonna solve that conundrum after this. But
All right. I mean, cadets. I mean, that's.
I have youth written down. Let's start with youth.
I don't know.
No,
Look,
no.
you got a little shout out.
Cadets. Go.
We're gonna
No,
start
you
with
get, take it to your kids.
kids a little, you know, like,
Hey,
Hey,
that's your
They are
foundation.
good little kids.
That's your
I see
foundation.
'em.
man.
you know.
That's true.
We'll get the man.
I have, like,
I just know how he is. This may take forever.
Nah, man, I don't have much youth stuff written
Sometimes the
down.
little kids are more excited than high school.
They score it well.
And they gotta wrestle both styles, the same day.
Let's see what you got.
You know, so like, those kids are gonna be scrapping. But I mean, of course, the top clubs. You know, JT Predator. Then you got Banditos with up there in Manville and up in Robinson. Not many powerhouse kids registered though.
No, I asked Tom about that. Tom's son had surgery,
Yeah.
so he wasn't able to come, and he said all the kids, when he came down, decided they weren't going to come.
It's a shame. They usually bring a good amount of kids.
Yeah.
You know, so I saw that, and what I got written down for you. I mean, of course, you got the Manville boys, and then you got Kurt McHenry.
Yeah.
You know, 84. You know, for Rangers.
Yeah,
But like,
it's,
I mean, not many. Like, even the numbers in the Greco turn out for kids is pretty decent. You know, you don't got like a lot of the huge weight classes.
no, but they're going to be
But the
some
numbers were pretty good. And then from 65 to 85, you're going to have some tough matches. You know, like,
You got the Raglan kids.
you got you got Travis, of course, so he's a little heavier, but I mean, you got Barnes in that weight class, you know, at 65. You got Little Holloway. You know, they've been battling the last couple of months. You know, those great teammates, the Predator. You know,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No disrespect. I don't know any of these.
What's the weight, 91?
You're in the room when you're coaching, coach.
My bad.
Oh, 84 is going to have some decent matches. I mean, McHenry's there. You have a couple other
Is
kids.
he a schoolboy?
Yeah, schoolboy. And then you got like, little Zosky and all those kids. But there's gonna be some good freestyle Greco wrestling down there. So give them a little shout out, man.
But, cadets. Sorry.
For cadets, cadets. I mean, obviously clubs that I got written down. Virginia Tech Predator. Obviously, Strick always brings the boys out.
Yeah.
Forge Raptor.
Yep.
Gunston started. They registered a little bit late, but those boys are trickling in. I don't know if they have everybody. Like I didn't see Bill Aducey register for juniors.
I did not see him.
I was hoping he'd register. Virginia Elite. I mean, I got it right down here, man. Christiansburg's bringing a lot of young, tough kids. I mean, Hunter Bolin, I have it written down here, All-American potential. And last week he beat Eric Hong at Northeast Regions. I mean, Hunter Bolin didn't get to finish the season. That's a kid that's, hungry and, it's tough on top and folk style. So I'm interested to see how his parterre is.
Heavy hands on his feet. Will Kelly wrestled with the Big Blue, and Will literally wrestled like this the entire match. Bolin was on his head. He really, really did a good job of neutralizing Kelly that way. Bolin, he's fun to watch.
I also got Marshall Keller written down from Virginia Elite. I mean, that's it's an 8th grader. He's wrestled cadet last year. He's a tough kid. He placed up in Northeast, wrestling up at 120. Keller's tough. And then you got little Giantonio, another 8th grader, coming up next year to be a freshman from Christiansburg. Of course, me and Foss know them boys for other reasons, since they're in 3A with us. But, those.
Every time I hear Marshall Keller, I think of Marshall Tucker band. Is that right?
I think of Marshall. I think of the kid from Smithfield,
Marshall Robinson.
Yeah, now
coaches
who could throw anybody,
He was a chucker.
but didn't like to cut weight.
Yeah, he did not fancy that at all.
What other stuff I got written down for cadet? I mean, obviously, before you go, I got 106 cadet turnout. A little low. Is that supposed to be a concern? I mean, 106 is supposed to be like your main freshman, like a lot of littler guys.
Little kids, like anything below that, do it.
There's a couple hundreds.
Yeah, it's a couple hundreds, but 94, 91. No,
We had
80.
one kid get sick.
Yeah, that's where
I mean, I know we're not helping that, but it was only 3 kids at 106. And I was,
Maybe the National Federation is going to
weight
We
changes.
talked about that last week.
I'm not a proponent of it. When you see
The
that,
numbers, the numbers are showing. Yeah. I mean, Colin Girardi at 6 is going to be tough. Jackson Gray at 13.
at 113, you got 3 3A state medalists.
Yeah,
You have
Gray.
Lincoln, Gray, and then you have Beckner. I mean, that's,
Beckner. He's just
freestyle.
I'm looking at Greco. That's
That's all he is.
I'm sorry, I
Always
base,
about the Greco.
I base everything on Greco. And Chris Michael will back me up on that. There is nothing other than Greco.
Freestyle and Sarah Colbell said this one of our most trainers. She said that in Sweden, freestyle wrestling is all ladies wrestling for ladies only, and in men in Sweden have to be pregnant. So I kind of like that.
I like that too.
Sweden, Jerry.
They're all over love it.
yeah.
Since his wife is from
Sweet.
and I get that from him all.
Now is Dale going to be at States tomorrow?
He will be.
Good. And is he still in a sling?
He's out of swing.
Okay, good. Great. So he's going to grab me and sling me around.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
At
Hold you
120,
up, put you in that suitcase.
at 126 in cadets, you have Caden Darver. He's a 4A
He's a
state
goer.
runner-up. That kid's just a goer.
Yeah.
He's a goer, and he's been
Energizer
working out with us a
rabbit.
little bit. But he, Greco and freestyle doesn't have probably too much experience. But you have TK McGonigal. I'm just interested in that match. TK is a little bit more seasoned in freestyle and Greco, but
This kid,
Caden Darver will
Really,
be in
he's
it.
just
goer.
coming at you.
he moves.
He doesn't stop.
Yeah, he does not stop moving for a second.
And he doesn't back down from anybody. I mean, he's been he's in
No, he
BC's
doesn't.
been.
We know him very well.
He's looked good in the practice room on Thursdays that I've been there. Nice kid, nice dad.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And one thing, there's no free show up.
yeah, like we don't even know.
We don't know if you do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, a lot of Frontier kids registered, and we didn't see a lot of their top guys.
I didn't see Matt Reigns.
Matt Reigns and Tingen, those guys weren't registered.
Saw the-
He's only junior, so.
Yeah.
Saw the little guy from
Areola.
yeah. Just a nice name.
I won
Yes, it is.
20 at that same weight.
Keep it G, British.
Came down a little bit on
Keep it
bump,
G.
so. But Cadets, I mean, of course, like you have a couple St. Chris guys in there. Cadets.
Carter Davis is wrestling. He had a hurt shoulder at the
He's at 45.
Yeah, he's at 45. We'll have Jens Ames at 182, who's a rising freshman.
82 is top. I got that written down. Middle school
Yeah,
state
really
champ.
good.
Yeah.
You have Ayala OC and Winners.
Yep.
Where's Jen's
You know,
age?
they all have had success in high school.
He's a St. Chris kid.
Yeah, no, what?
82. But he's, I believe, just wrestling freestyle.
Does he still get the residual checks from everyone?
That's Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh, I always make that.
Jan Michael Vincent.
I always make that mistake.
Maybe other
It's gonna be
cadet
on your
stuff.
greatest hit. It's gonna be on your reel, man.
Any cadet women stuff? You know, any like matches or
No, right now we pretty much have one girl at each year.
That's good.
That's what we need, you know, first year this building. I'm gonna try to have a girl team that's the biggest.
How many of those girls do you think will go out to Fargo?
7.
That's awesome.
Great. No, that's
We've
great.
only had like, I think the most we've had is 3. Yeah. So that's great.
195 cadet. Give a little shout out to a Hanover boy. It's gonna be a good little weight. You have Jeffrey Allen. He's a freshman from
Amherst.
Amherst.
TJ
And
Allen.
TJ Allen.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good little weight class.
Yeah.
That'll allow it.
TJ's been working a little bit at PWA.
And he's been working out. He's come up to St. Chris a couple times with Gordon Allen to work out with us. He's thick. Yeah, he's thick. He's a strong kid. He moves really well.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
I don't really have it anymore. But he had it.
Yeah, I had it.
TJ has a little freestyle experience. I've never seen Jeffrey Allen wrestle freestyle or Greco, but I'm pretty sure you know.
What's that, Amherst kid?
Yeah, Amherst did.
He was a match away, I think, from the last Sunday.
TJ Allen or
Jeff Allen.
Jeff Allen?
That's a country star right there. Amherst.
Yeah.
That's country.
Yeah.
That's a good coaching staff out there.
Yeah, they do nice. Amherst does a nice job. Nice job out there. Tough
Nice
kids.
guys.
Was he 42?
The 4A state champ 195.
Yeah.
Wrestled a great tournament. 195 had some decent kids there. Beat the Philippine kid.
So, yeah, Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk juniors.
Juniors, I mean, weight classes. I mean, of course, you got a lot of kids throughout. I got all Americans returning. You got Joey Prada.
Yep.
You know, you got Corbin Allen.
Yep.
You got Dylan Wiseman, who's had a great, ridiculous offseason.
Yeah.
You know, and I have him right now specifically because you got Ross Graham in the same weight class.
Right.
I mean, Ross Graham, and Wiseman. I mean, Graham, obviously not as seasoned in freestyle and Greco as Dylan is, but I mean, Ross is just
The season's
awkward, you know, to wrestle and slows matches
Dylan-
down. And,
Over the past 2 years in freestyle and Greco, Dylan Wiseman has really impressed me. I mean, I was telling Chris earlier that when Dylan was a second-year cadet, he wrestled the national tournament with basically one leg. He tore meniscus in his knee, and had it not been for that, I think he'd made the tournament. You know, last year at 82, placed 4th in both styles and just was solid. You know, he's fun to watch. He's very coachable. You know, I've worked with him in the past. He's a great kid. I mean, he could win Fargo this summer. He's going to be in contention to win the whole thing.
both sides.
Yeah.
And the offseason is put together too already.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
I got a 138. You got, Stone
Riggs.
and Riggs. That's what I mainly went down. I was thinking that
Let's see each other a
Bill.
lot, man.
Yeah.
Well, not this year.
Oh, really?
I had my
Okay.
Rick was at 26 and 32, and Shane was 38, right? They haven't seen each other for a while.
BC originally, entered at 138. He's going 45 though.
45?
45. That's 3 state champs.
Yes.
You have, Corey Leonard, BC LePrad, and you have Colin Saunders.
Cox.
Yeah, that was your junior freestyle final last year. Saunders and BC.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that. That's going to be a good weight, And then you have
152.
well, one more guy at 45, if he's wrestling, is Stephen Midkiff from
He's tough.
Hickory. I talked to his coach last night. He's got a banged up knee, so I'm not sure if he's going to wrestle or not. They're coming, but whether or not he wrestles. Stephen, I think was out in Fargo last year. He's tough. 45 is going to be, but 52.
52.
52.
I just wrote it down simple. 7 state medalists throughout, some with multiple medals. Some are state champs, some are state runners up. But that's just a loaded weight class.
Yeah.
And I still think a couple more people enter there, too.
Richards?
Neil's banged up right now, so
Yeah.
I would even add even more difference to it.
Yeah.
it's big right
Now,
now.
did you include Brian Sakalas?
Yeah, he's practiced. I included all.
Okay, good.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Who are you talking to?
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure because
I mean, what else do you do
people
over
forget
there?
us. They forget us.
Proctoring tests.
Yeah.
Like, it's practice.
Read it out. I couldn't see
Sakalas is
this.
pretty
Read it
good.
out.
Sakalas is pretty good.
I don't really want to know when you did this.
Well, I did this morning, right before the read out.
Yeah, I printed this out during my second period
It's all
class.
written off. Probably. But I mean, yeah, what we do is gonna
I
be.
think it would have been Steph.
Now, we're so far away. My classroom was so far away from the main office that like we're in a different zip code. They just unless like I radio because the outpost. Exactly, it's like a whole different country. To get in our gym, you got to go down some steps.
It's a different zip code.
Well, you know, we could have like a cross beam thing like they have at railroads, you know, to get into our like, PE land. So yeah, they leave us alone. So, you know.
But I mean, 152 is gonna be a load of weight. And let's look at. Let's start off at I guess 138. Riggs and Stone. I mean, they both probably have eligibility left. It stresses me out. I don't know. Like some of these kids.
You may have to talk to his coach. I don't know.
Is Riggs the kid who's had a bunch of concussions?
He's
Been
banged
banged
up.
Yeah.
You know, freshman year, you know what, won NHSCA's or
Stone seems like he's been around forever.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the brother though.
No,
He has a younger brother who's at 145 in cadets.
I was gonna say I thought maybe Stone was wrestling for you guys when I was still in basketball.
Maybe.
He has his doctorate. That's odd. I don't know how
It's a
that
special program that they only have. But yeah, Stone. I mean, I've seen him wrestle in the past. Tough, intense kid. That'll be a good couple of matches. Lincoln. Oh wait, no, it's 32.
And like I said, Bill Ducey, he wrestled there at club. I think at Club Duels, right? He was at 38 or 32. Yeah.
I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's a freak athlete.
Where's he from?
Not Vernon. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's the
Played
one that,
Jeff as a freshman and ran up this year last
that's the
year.
one that from Manchester, right?
Yeah.
He wrestled BC and Talkin Greco and then freestyle.
Heard of him.
You know, BC hurt his ankle there.
Yeah, he's jacked.
You know. But I mean, that kid might show him makes 38 tougher, 32 tougher.
45 solid.
45 is real solid. I mean, Corey hasn't got to wrestle freestyle much the last couple of years, just due to injury stuff. But I'm looking forward to, you know, a lot of those guys were wrestling folk style last weekend. Him and, you know, DuPont is like a 52 wrestling folk last weekend, but he'll probably just blowing at their lunch, you know.
Yep. 52 it's going to be
Fun.
yeah, it's
going to be fun.
That's going to be the weight class to watch. I mean, if you're there, you got to come watch 52.
You have your cadet finalists in there. You have Rob DuPont and Blake Homan.
Yep.
You know, that's your cadet final from last year in the States.
You got Creed Lump in there who's dangerous, as tall as he is. He's
He won cadets last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 45, I think. He was at 45.
Yeah. But still, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
still
finally.
pretty
So filling in.
He's definitely looking a lot bigger. You know, when I saw him during the year, I kind of joked with him, like, you know, because he's not cutting a lot of weight. He actually let himself grow. He looks good. He's just ginormous.
You know. Then you have another Virginia Elite kid in that Pittsburgh kid, Antonio.
Yep.
State champ, 3A.
It's tough.
You know, those kids are pretty serious at freestyle Greco. Makes it exciting.
Yeah.
You know, then you got Kwani Blake, who is a state medalist in 3A. That kid will launch it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm surprised he's not wrestling.
Stand River.
He's wrestling just freestyle.
It's a deep river out there.
That kid's a good athlete. You know, good athlete. And
This is what he does. You know, in 60, you know, 60's going to
the
be
return
good.
All-American Corbin
You
Allen.
got Corbin Allen, Dorian Giantonio, Elliot Padigo, who was a AA state champion. And I got to put in a plug for my kid, John Ferguson.
Yeah.
You know, Fergie was a reject from the basketball team as a ninth grader. Came out for wrestling,
Oh, that is tough.
and he placed at our state tournament. Had the guy who won it from Paul the Six had him beat, had him turned with the near wrist, and the kid cried out. And obviously going back to poor officiating, should have gotten a couple points for that. We lose 1-0. Fergie should be in state.
Padiga's from Grundy.
Yeah, Padigo's from Grundy. You know, so that'll be fun. At 70, you got Capitoma and Mason Woodall. That'll be an interesting match. Taylor Rudnick from St. Chris being that. So
I would put Terma
Tom was very tough. Yeah.
He hasn't wrestled that much freestyle Greco though.
Yeah.
No, he is.
Woodall has.
Yeah, Woodall's he's the
been all
KG
around.
freestyle man. I like watching him wrestle.
It's like the Rowdy Roddy Piper.
And he kind of looks like Roddy Piper too.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
If he comes in a kilt, that'd be awesome. And a Hot Rod t-shirt. Make that happen. I appreciate that.
And I can add something. Curtis Harris would be in the 152 pound.
Oh, that's right.
But he's coming. He's
Oh.
coming today. He'll be there on Sunday.
Oh,
And
man.
as well as both partners who do not pre-register. They'll be at 82 and 95. Wow. Just on Sundays for freestyle.
Oh, wow.
That's yeah.
That's 82 is gonna make it. I mean, Wiseman and Grant still. I mean, it's be a fun weight.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't looked at 95 in juniors.
Yeah, there's a couple Carlos Littles, Jamon Myers from North Stafford, the North Stafford Hit Squad.
Oh.
Aggressive club.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, like, will they shoot us in the parking lot? Is that like,
Oh, yeah.
how's that?
I don't know, Coach Swink,
How's
you
that
haven't
go
had
down?
coached at North Stafford.
That was in the 90s.
It's a hit squad. I don't know. 220 got Dave Janelle and Patrick Grayson. Grayson, physical specimen. Yeah, it's a nice kid too. It's really nice.
Real nice.
Yeah,
He's had a good spring.
good.
Oh, okay.
His third juniors went undefeated out in Indiana.
Oh,
Is he
wow.
going to? Where's he going to school? Or is he back for another year?
Only
He's
junior.
only junior. Because you got a guy going to Fairmount next year, right?
It's the Carter.
Okay.
95.
Okay, that's yeah. And heavyweight, we got one of our backup guys wrestling, Stephon Alston. Yeah, he's doing workouts and all that, and he's working hard. He's a young guy. Actually, in cadet, we have our other DT Badley. Sorry, Chris Harris. He's a St. Chris kid, not a Godwin kid. He'll be wrestling heavyweight.
What about Helms wrestling and all?
Not registered.
Not registered.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look, like,
Him and
Block
Grayson
years-
had a heck of a
I
match.
heard that's really been the talk.
Freestyle
Yeah.
single.
Yeah. Throwing each other around.
It was 21 to 10.
Wow.
Grayson won the match.
So he got that extra week. What he intercepted pass?
Yeah.
They threw a Hail Mary, picked it off, and went back.
But it was for two big kids. There was a lot of
Yeah, that was
A
the
lot
talk
of
of the
action. That's awesome.
but
Speaking of which, what we have not done yet this week is
Matt Keel,
Matt Keel, choose top.
ChooseTop.com,
Choose top.
Stop.
all day,
All
day, every day. You choose
Every
top.
episode we do
Usually
I've
multiple
seen it. I've
times.
watched that.
See, finally somebody who's watched it.
Yeah,
These
these
two
guys
guys come in like I always watched it.
I've watched 2 of the episodes.
And now you're on it.
Now I'm on it.
Coach Swink's gonna make the run down to Richmond every Friday.
That's not
It's not that far.
I don't know.
If I can get out of school.
Yeah,
there you go.
Coach Michael's never coming up with that.
Yeah, this is
That was the worst traffic ever. I don't remember what was going on. I was like, I'll leave it.
there doesn't have to be anything going on in 64.
I'm glad I didn't follow your directions. I could have been the teacher. Rob says, go here, make a left, go here, make a right. There's like 27 turns. It's 2.8 miles from the other edge.
But I did send you. I sent you the address though. I
You
did.
did. So all I had to do was get on 95 and get off on the 3rd Street exit and then run right up to it. I was like, yeah, we make it 30 turns.
Pretty simple.
I made really no turns. The motorcycle was sitting on his
He
body.
knows money. He doesn't know directions. Just saying. He knows promotion.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, back the bus up. You want to talk about directions? Yeah, don't. Yeah. Whoa.
I can't get you anywhere, and I went to
Now,
college.
We take, with St. Chris, we take two little mini buses, and invariably I'm driving one of them. Katomer may drive, but usually now it's Gordon's driving the other one.
Katomer has to get his nap. He's a little older.
Yeah.
Oh no, he always has to stop and like.
I
He has,
think he's the youngest of the
yeah. But anyway, Gordon's first year at St. Chris. All right, we're going down to Ocean Lakes, and normally I'm the guy who leads because I know my way around Virginia, and he doesn't know. He didn't know that 195 was a shortcut to like downtown. So he's leading on 95, and it can be a tricky exit to get on the 64 because you got to merge over to the right. Now Gordon just goes straight.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the guys like, fellas, he's gonna get lost. And I call him, and he's like, where am I? I don't know where I am. How do I get back to? What do I gotta do? John, where are you? I don't know. I'm on a highway. Oh gosh. So we had to stop at the rest area at New Kent. Thinking that maybe he would turn around, like just turn around and get back on 95, get off at 64 East. Then we wait 15, 20 minutes. Nothing. I'm like, you know what, guys, we gotta weigh in. Like, we gotta go. So I'm just thinking, crap, he's lost, half the team's gone, whatever, we're screwed. And somehow, like, we roll into the parking lot, and there's this other bus. I don't know how he did it. He didn't know how he did it.
Gordon.
Coach
He's
Gordon.
walking around backcracking. Man.
Yeah.
He's Coach Gordon.
It's Coach Gordon.
He made one call. They got
flighted.
flighted.
Flash Gordon.
No. And
I drive this bus pretty well.
every trip that year, our assistant athletic director, Reno Farrell, would take me aside before we get in the bus. You gotta slow down. Don't drive so fast. I'm like going, a little bit over the speed limit. But apparently, that was too fast for Gordon. And whenever we come back, like I can anticipate, he calls me at the same time every trip and says the same thing. Hey, you gotta do two things. Make sure that the boys clean up the back of the bus and make sure if they need a ride. It started with, hey, good job getting us home. Everything is, good job getting us home. Make sure that you tell the boys to clean up the bus. And if they need a ride, then they better call now because we're going to be back at late. And we're like 2 blocks from school. We're going to be there in 20 minutes. All right, coach. But we're there like 30 seconds later. And the phone rings. I'm like, hey, fellas, it's that phone call. We know what time it is. Clean up the bus. Let's go. And, we have interesting trips with Coach Gordon. So that was, I guess, actually, that was my Gordonism of the week.
That was good. That was a Gordon story. That
was a Gordon story of the week. Good. And his son, Nicky, apparently is a follower of the show. Because Coach Gordon took me aside. I thought he was going to backhand me or something.
Tell the boss it's on when I see him.
Better get those JV matches and that middle school match going. I thought for sure he was going to be like, you got to tone it down. He's like, Nicky's a fan. He says you're doing some good things with that show. Good leadership. Good leadership.
Does he know how much we make fun of Ross on the show?
Oh, yeah. So, but
long trips in general with the team is just ridiculous. You took the same drive from Escape the Rock that we had to. We were a little bit wrong.
That's longer for us.
The worst drive we do is the Ironman.
Oh, yeah. I'm 64.
I'll be doing that next week. Feeling that.
Every time we go, Mark Black says, do we really have to go there? And I say, yeah, we gotta go.
Actually, for us, I think the drive to Christiansburg, not because it's going to Christiansburg, because
You don't see anything.
no, you go out 64 West, you make a left
Which is
turn.
one of the worst highways
Yeah.
ever.
You
I
make a
can take it
left.
that way out there. Take the scenic route.
I don't want to take the scenic
You
route.
go
I
down
wanna get right back.
360. Take
Hold
360.
Gordon will get lost.
Hold on.
It's only like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, 360.
Hold on.
all
Take that like
Then you take
Remember when I
360
told
to
you-
307.
You like that
I
I
drive.
did by myself, but when you've got like 30 kids that want to eat,
Like I said, only that 20
They
minutes
only
long.
want to stop at Wawa because they want chicken quesadillas.
Yeah.
You get to go to McDonald's. There's an Amelia McDonald's. What do you want?
I did not know that. But honestly, and it's one thing like if you have a school bus, it's okay because kids can sleep, you can sleep. No, you guys have it made.
No, we have vans.
Oh, you take vans to that?
Yeah, which I never drive because of my checkered driving history.
Be grateful. And well, when
Driving down to North Carolina this year for the WRL though was
I thought we
probably
were
the
gonna lose
hottest
Perkins.
experience of
Yeah.
my life.
We almost lost the raccoon.
Yeah, literally like
I thought he was gonna pass
the
out.
kid that we had to eat on for. He was like perky. The kid in the back, we thought he was.
I lost 4 pounds in that.
I was
What
trying-
weight did before that? I lost 4 pounds on that.
the bad thing about those long drives, this goes back to when Josh Wine was wrestling for me in Macedonia. Of course, we go to Christiansburg. Who's the only kid who makes the finals? Wine. He's a heavyweight. So we got to stay till the end of the tournament for his match, and then after all the awards and that, we got to wait for him, and then he's got to take a shower. So we don't get out of there until like 11 o'clock, meaning you get back to Fredericksburg at like 3 in the morning. And of course, Josh is hyper the whole way back. I can't deal with the hyper Josh. Shut up! And he was like, "What's the matter, Coach?"
I think he's going to arrest you now.
He could have, yeah, he's a
Yeah, there you go.
Why do you think I avoid Spotsylvania County?
You guys were smart when y'all went up to escape the rock, though. Y'all like left late, took like this car.
I didn't like that they let us in they put us out in the powder room, but let us in there to watch football.
Yeah, we all got
We just kind of hung out. We're like, who are these guys? Yeah, they're really nice.
Y'all travel rock this year?
Yeah, we went all over the place. We kicked a lot of tournaments at Richmond, at Princeton, and then we went up to Pennsylvania for a tournament. All over. Staying in the beach area right now. We're busting down there.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, about how it's getting better with quality coaches.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting better.
It used to be.
It used to be they would just kick everyone's tail.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think we're seeing some more Peach kids entering this tournament or something.
Good.
And when they were on top, they were in all the All-Americans. And,
Now it's a bit different.
But Cleaver said it when we were talking about it, like at that time, it was like one school getting on this deal.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit more like widespread.
Spread out.
Yeah.
maybe so. I mean, yeah, the Cox and Greco,
Yeah.
they were both
Yeah.
traditional All-Americans pretty regularly.
And then they came from Gloucester kid.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Glenhart.
And Potosin kids.
Yeah.
We had Victor Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were top late 90s.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, Twinkie would be happy that he gave a shout out to his alma mater. Got to give a shout out to the coach. And Jason Bryant doing a great job on
Does
the
he
open
watch
mat.
this?
I don't know.
He's probably too big for
Busy
this.
man.
No,
Too
he's
big
not.
guy.
No,
Just
he's,
like you're too busy. I see
Yeah.
like he'll make posts like 3:30 in the morning. And you're like, what are you doing?
Did you ever room with him?
No, I got to make the rooming list. Well,
My first year at Fargo.
I'd probably put you guys together.
Yeah. And this
You
is
know
back
what
when he
he
was
crap out of each other, leave everybody else alone.
this was when he was in college. So it was not the polished Jason Bryant that we see today that actually was the best. Yeah, no, this was still Twinkie. Twinkie's up at 4 in the morning on his computer, and I got to get up for weigh-ins or
Make
something.
sure Matt talk online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Would you please go to bed? And he left his window open in the dorm, and it freaking stormed.
Oh,
so,
my.
So his bed got soaked. I mean, it was like a sponge.
Oh, don't you know? There's Fargo.
Oh, the Fargo's old. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Anyway,
Well, that's a topic for someday.
Fargo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that the right place?
is that the right week? Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. We're not going to be on next week because
I won't be here Friday. I leave for a wedding.
He was just gonna put a lot of ankles and knees up because he's gonna have a camera around this weekend. So he's gonna be filming like his point of view. So you're getting a lot of like ankles and knees, maybe some hips.
I'll be out next week. I'll be out in Akron at the Field Cadet National
Oh,
with
wow.
Joey Correa, and any other Virginia kid that's out there. You know.
So are we going to shoot it next week?
We plan on interviewing some people and stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll bring a camera.
Oh, I
but
thought we weren't going to do that.
I can't. I mean, I'm not going to have the go cam because
Oh. All right.
So maybe I'll just in the corner I'll just have my camera right here.
Yeah.
Talk to Joey and my son.
You were with Metzger last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I roomed with Metzger for with Ben Summerlin for like 3 or 4 years, and that's right after I got divorced, and that led to
That makes a lot of sense.
a lot of interesting nights in Fargo. Then it was Brent Jones, and since Brent
Killed me when I was in school board.
schoolboy,
Killed me.
it's like
It was
what?
a long time
Took me
ago.
out back.
And when Brent moved to South Carolina, I started rooming with Ed because I just wanted some. Did you see me rooming with Metz or with
Yeah, I
with
saw
Slidey? Did you see me rooming with Slidey?
no. I'd gnaw my arm off to get out of that trap.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody have any shout outs?
We did a shout out to the girls.
Yeah.
I have one shout out to William of Normandy. Later becomes William the Conqueror in 1066.
Hey.
Became King of England.
I didn't really shout out.
Oh, he was
I'd like to shout out to Andrew Farrar, our
Yes.
new executive director.
We talked about
Talk
him.
about that.
Yeah, and
Shout
is he
out.
going to be here this weekend?
No, it's the last week of school.
Okay.
So they have graduation.
Awesome.
And then he starts on June 2nd.
Cool.
So we're looking forward to,
Excellent.
he's going to make a trip down to Quebec Goals.
Oh, good.
So
It's
he's not going to Oklahoma City.
So it'll be me and Sonny.
Really sunny, and we're going to have one today.
Quick shout out. Been doing it the last couple of weeks. Buchanan alum, Trey Gregory
Came out.
came out.
Yeah, last night.
He wasn't really a Greco guy. Came and wrestled Greco last night. Helped us out a little bit. And then Corey Todd, he's going to come and wrestle here in a little bit. He came and lifted with us yesterday. You know, still has the beard going. He's going to text making him age a little bit.
Yeah, it's like 1 year.
You know,
It's like
good shout out
dog
to
years.
Buchanan
I think it's
alum,
going to get over
you know. Also, we got to thank you, these guys.
Oh yeah, shout out to our
Yeah,
guests.
yeah. Bill Swick, Chris
That's
Michael,
right. Thank you very
Jeff
much.
Gregory for coming in. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate y'all coming in and seeing the madness that is Talkin' Wrestling.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't have any shout outs.
Really? I thought it was just Moses.
Just to Moses. Moses. It's been a busy week, you know, with SOLs and everything going on, trying to, you know.
It's spring in school land.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I could give a shout out to my new dentist, Dr. Lipscomb. Freaking kicked that in my mouth for an hour with a metal
That's what they
hook.
do, buddy. That's what they do.
Yeah.
also only 2 blocks away.
2 blocks away.
It's actually,
Ain't that a geographical
I hate
item?
you all. I hate you all. It is on Main Street, though. Hey, and if you ever get down here to downtown Richmond, 3rd Street Diner, corner of 3rd and Main, it's what, 218 East Main Street,
Yeah,
I think is
good place,
the
good food.
actual address, which I did text Coach Swank.
Yes, he did. It was tremendous.
After the fact, I thought about it. I was
A
like,
lot easier to get off of 95. Just do it that way.
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, if you ever get down here, stop in at 3rd Street. They're open 24 hours a day. Fellas, stay away from the bathroom. It's
Yeah,
not a
that's the
happy
only
place.
That was terrible.
So for all of us here at Talkin' Wrestling, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll be not online tomorrow, next week, but the following week, hopefully.
You're posting like interviews and stuff, by the way.
Yeah, if I get any good interviews and
Maybe the best of Coach Foster next week.
Maybe that's what I can do.
Friday.
That's what I can do during my trip to Akron. If I'm not driving, yeah, I can sift through the Talkin' Wrestling archives and we'll put a best of the best quotes from Mike Foss.
Yeah,
So thanks. Hopefully we'll see you this weekend at the Arthur Ashe Center for the Vawa Freestyle and Greco State Tournament. Have a good night.
Fare thee well, Hiawatha.
Good Shabbos, everybody.